Hinds County Democratic Party have a chairperson by the name of Jackie Amos. We believe and we have evidence that Jackie Amos is tampering with the Hinds County elections. And so on today, we're asking that the Hinds County Democratic Party take immediate action. We're asking that she step down from her position as Hinds County chairperson of the Democratic Party, along with Sandra McCall, who is the secretary, who is her running buddy in and around this election. We have videotape of Jackie Amos going into boxes, bringing in thumb drives, bringing in ballots to be inserted into machines. We have pictures of Jackie Amos participating in what we think that is fraud as well as corruption.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about a story that the mainstream liberal media says that you're not supposed to talk about, because according to them, this never happens, right? Stuff like this never happens. You're never supposed to actually say, hey, let's make sure that election results are legit, okay? Let's ask questions to make sure all the results are legit and that people can have faith in our institutions and our constitutional republic. The democratic aspect of it, that is. You're not supposed to ask questions, because if you ask questions, that means that you're an insurrectionist, okay? You're trying to overthrow democracy. You're a threat, and you should be locked up in prison, right? This is what Democrats told us for the last 3 or 4 years, even though they have a history of disputing the outcome of elections and claiming election fraud, okay? They have a history of it, of claiming it when they lose. And we have a story that basically is a Democrat crying election fraud because he lost, or allegedly he lost, okay, according to him, because he is now going after a Democrat chair of Hinds County, Mississippi, who he claims essentially rigged the outcome of the Democrat primary in one of the races that he was running in. Now, this guy's name is Mr. David Archie. He is a District 2 supervisor for Hinds County in Mississippi. He's accusing Democratic Executive Chair Jacqueline Amos of rigging the outcome of his election in favor of his opponent, Anthony Smith, basically ensuring that Mr. Anthony Smith would win. Now, I want to go ahead and play a news clip of this situation so you guys get a better idea of what's going on here, and then I want to talk about it. So without further ado, roll the clip.
County District 2 Supervisor David Archie laid out his findings today from a ballot box review of what he calls a fraudulent primary election.
The 12 News senior political correspondent Richard Lake has more on his findings. And Richard, what did he have to say?
Yeah, Byron, so for Supervisor Archie, it's not only the election that he claims was fraudulent, it's also the very review that he requested. Supervisor Archie says that when he began his review of election results, the only thing given to him from the Hinds County Democratic Party was paper ballots cast in District 2.
We have fraud and corruption from a high-tech perspective.
According to Archie, no confirmation measures such as digital images of the ballots, voter signature books, or even the thumb drives from the voting machines themselves were handed over. Cynthia Johnson Walker led the review of the ballot boxes. She says without those materials, the legitimacy of the entire election can be called into question.
All we know is you got 1,800 paper ballots. Had she left me some books and I came back to 1,800, had she left me some media sticks and I came back to 1,800, I can't go anywhere but count those paper ballots that does not tell us anything.
Walker is referring to Jacqueline Amos, the Hinds County Democratic Executive Committee chair, whose Supervisor Archie believes orchestrated the fraud. Archie cited what he calls a profanity-laced text exchange between Amos and an unnamed person, in which Amos purportedly voiced her dismay with Archie.
I'm going to F David Archie on the site. You can't be any clearer than that.
Archie is calling on the resignation of Amos. He says he's prepared to file criminal charges if she does not step down. In a statement, Amos recognized Supervisor Archie's rights as a candidate to contest election results and says she is ready to cooperate. And as far as what's next for Archie, he says he has until next week to file a court proceeding within Hinds County Circuit Court to challenge the election. For 12 News, it's been Richard Lake reporting live in Jackson.
Yeah, so you see that, you heard that. Now, I want to be clear about the point of this video before I get into it, because I want people to understand this video is not about the legitimacy of these claims. I have no clue whether or not this guy's claims are legitimate or not. All I know is that he has the right to make these claims if he feels that way, and he has the right to challenge the election if he feels that the election was not conducted properly. It doesn't matter if he's a Democrat, okay? I don't care if he's a Democrat. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I do believe in people's rights to challenge an election that they feel was unfair. And they can go into court of law and prove their case. And as citizens, we can be reassured that our elections are conducted fairly, right? I think that is a part of a functioning and healthy democracy, is the ability to challenge the outcome of elections and ensure that it was conducted properly, that there was no fraudulent activity, okay? If you could not do that, if that was not possible, then there's no way that people could have faith in elections if people aren't allowed to challenge them, okay? If you can't challenge an election, then there's all the incentive in the world for people to tamper with the election if they know that it will never be challenged, okay? This is just common sense stuff. But the point of this video is to once again point out the hypocrisy of Democrats who tell us that, hey, we're not supposed to challenge elections, right? Challenging elections means that you are insurrectionist. It means that you should be locked in jail. That means you should not be able to hold public office. It means that you should be censored by big tech. You shouldn't be allowed to voice your opinion. This is something that Democrats and big tech and the mainstream liberal media have told us for the last 3 to 4 years. So this guy, according to Democrat logic, right, and reasoning, this guy should be thrown in jail, right? This guy, David Archie, should be thrown in jail for challenging this election, okay? He shouldn't be allowed to be a county supervisor, and he should be censored on social media. But I'm sure that because Mr. Archie is a Democrat, and he also happens to be black as well, too, he'll probably get the benefit of the doubt, right? He'll probably get a pass. I think that a lot of people, a lot of liberals who otherwise would be upset if this guy was white, Republican, conservative, making these types of crazy claims, right? These unsubstantiated claims, these false claims, right? The big lie, okay? If it was a Republican out here spouting the big lie, I'm sure they wouldn't get the same benefit of the doubt and grace that this person is getting, right? This person, his claim is going to be taken seriously, right? Because he's a Democrat making a claim against the Democrat Party. Again, it's amazing how that works. It really is. If Democrats really were consistent, this guy, again, should be thrown in jail. He should be censored. He should be called a conspiracy theorist, okay? All the things that they do to Republicans, right? When Republicans make those type of claims, hey, same thing should happen to him, right? Because you're not supposed to ever challenge the outcome of an election. You're not supposed to. Again, it's just funny how that works. And this is why the Democrats and their position on the election is so silly, because they're the biggest hypocrites when it comes to this type of stuff, okay? Democrats have been crying about elections and the outcome of elections every time they lose, right? Every time they lose. They were crying when Bush won. They were crying when Trump won. Again, they cry all the time. But ultimately, at the end of the day, their position is undemocratic. The reason why is because in order to have a functioning democracy, people have to have faith in the democracy. What instills faith in the democracy is the ability to challenge whether or not the democracy is functioning properly, okay? Are the outcomes of our elections legitimate? The idea or the ability to challenge an election is what actually makes a democracy strong, because again, it instills faith that, hey, the elections are being done legitimately, right? Which is why you shouldn't shame people who decide that, hey, I'm going to challenge the election, right? And I'm going to make these claims. Let it work out in the court of law, right? If there's legitimate fraud going on, hey, it will be discovered in court. Things will be corrected. If there's not, then hey, at the end of the day, it's not, right? And we could move on, okay? But everybody knows that, okay, it's been looked into. We've answered people's questions, and people can move on, right? That is the way a democracy is actually supposed to work, okay? I'm just pointing out the difference here, okay, in regards to how Democrats think about this and how people who are normal, right, think about it. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.